Hello, my name is Leigh Silver. I am the next Commissioner of Baseball. I first would like to thank Mr. Keith Olbermann and Ron Manfred on their magnanimous realization on how the surprise vote actually went. Second, thanks to the owners who will put their trust in me unless there is another vote out there that I am not aware of. The first thing that must be on everyone's mind is why would Major League Baseball give over their most powerful position to a 36-year-old comedian and documentary filmmaker who is, of all things, a Mets fan? No, I won't play favorites with the club. As you can see by the naming of my deputy commissioner, a one Lawrence Wayne Jones Jr. You all can feel free, you can all feel chipper about that if you want to, but only the Mets fans can continue to call him Larry. And only when at Citi Field. The only thing I will do in favor of the Metropolitan Ball Club is, in fact, to make Mr. Wilpon pay all of what he still owes to Bobby Bonilla just to get off the Mets payroll right now. Well, I have the mind of Bill Veeck and the jokiness of Casey Stengel and Roger McDowell. No, I will not spit on anyone in fiction or in real life. Although I should say that little people still are banned from playing unless, of course, their strike zone is bigger than an actual baseball. I wish they would have given me the job the way they did Kennesaw Mountain Landis for life, but I understand why. I have just a 5-year deal because I have to prove myself. Now, first thing, beginning in 2015, we are getting rid of catchers can no longer block the plate. I know we were trying to avoid head injuries, but it just caused more problems than it solves. And it was stupid to begin with. He's a catcher, they know the risk, and how many of you love talking about what happened to Ray Fosse during the All-Star game with Pete Rose? If anyone wants to discuss, however, we can make it safe and logical, please. Let's set up an appointment. As to those things, the All-Star game will still determine home field advantage during the Fall Classic. And we will not ever go to the USA versus World idea ever, even after I am gone. While we still have World Series games at night, the opening pitch will be no later than that of 7:35 Eastern Standard Time. I realize that most adult fans on the West Coast, this means you will still be doing their jobs, if not at the game. But so what? We actually want the kids, the future of our customers, to see a ball game without having to yawn the next day in class. Also, we have afternoon baseball, not just in the LCSs and divisional series, but the World Series as well. Not all the games, mind you, but at least 2 starting in 2015. I have convinced the owners that this will mean that though this will mean less money for those I work for in the short run, in the long run, things will all pay off. The 7:35 start are, well, the times during the year when most games start at the latest on either the East or West Coast during the year. So I see no reason that under my tenure, the first pitch should be at 8:28, no matter how much more money we can get. Also, documentaries on the history of the game and the teams will be made more by MLB Properties and Films. Pete Rose, he's still banned for life. But I am happy to tell you that he will become eligible for the Hall of Fame after the year that he dies. Pete Rose II, Petey Jr., or whatever you want to call him, can do the speeches at the Hall of Fame or give it to one of his siblings. This rule also makes Shoeless Joe Jackson eligible as of now, but not the other 7, including Buck Weaver and especially Eddie Cicotte, or Cicotte, or however we pronounce his name depending on who we're talking to. I also clear with absolute certainty Mike Piazza of PED use. He never used them, nobody said or had proof he ever used them, and until such time as someone has come up, he is cleared. Shame on the writers for not making him a first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm sorry. I realize that may in fact be a little bit more Mets fan in me. Deal with it. He never used. Also, all those in the past before the rules of suspension for steroids have been stripped of all of their stats. Since you used illegal methods to obtain such stats, they are now all gone. I only wish that I could take away the MVP, Cy Youngs, and Rookie of the Year awards. However, since steroids were not just used by the stars of the game, but by nearly everybody, and were not illegal, I can only do that only due to the number of players. At this time, we are not going to go into a salary cap, by the way, but that may come up during the next negotiations, yes. The only reason I am not implementing it now is because it is a legal contract and I cannot break it. All those owners who collect as a luxury tax must also put that money to work to improving their teams. The richer owners are not being forced to give you this money and then you just pocket the dough. Also, PED first offenders are gone from the game permanently, and the players should consider themselves lucky that I don't apply this to narcotics. Even though I want to have the honor of something in the previous contract. I have no idea why my predecessor did not do this in the first place. Trust me, player union representatives, these will be coming up during the next negotiations, and like Mr. Olbermann, I dare you to strike after both this and the last strike and the steroids that you allowed your players to use, but then also let them collect in a way of collecting more money than they should ever have because of false pretenses. I dare you. I dare you. Now to the teams themselves. The Houston Astros are being moved back to the National League. They never should have been moved in the first place, and the travel for them is just ridiculous. Interleague baseball shall continue, but the rivalry series each year will not. Instead, we will do what baseball was going to do in the first place, and that teams in those rivalry series will play each other once every 3 years. I love the Subway Series, but this way we will all love it more because it will be a rare event. That's why the Giants and Jets now only play once every 4 years, and fans love it. Because it's a rarity. Rarity. Also, baseball players each year will be required to come up with clean nicknames for their teammates. They may consult with journalists to do so and come up with stories of why. See the stories of Shoeless Joe Jackson and Catfish Hunter if you need to know how these things are done. Remember, be creative and be clean. This also applies to teams in a pennant race and the things for superstitions. If need to know of things such as these, please go to the Black Cat in 1969 or the Rally Monkey. Let's not just save this for the postseason, boys, and let's not just so we can make money off of it. We are opening up our own film studio in Hollywood, hiring directors, writers, the whole bit, and to come up with more baseball movies, the way Marvel has done with its franchise. No, we don't expect our baseball players in these movies to be superheroes, but to be movies like, let's say, 42 or The Natural or something to that method. Good ones expect to see, don't expect to see Major League 3 back in the minors. These things will mostly be biographical or a team season. Already in production are the yet-to-be-named Hank Greenberg movie, the story of the Continental League, and the 1986 postseason. The 2003 postseason we hope to get to after that, and any more, please call the offices in Los Angeles with the number seen here. Also, eventually, we want to have song studios about players, managers, and teams because songs are fun, and baseball is supposed to be fun. Get the best use to the phrase best interests of baseball, because I will be using that when needed. Incidentally, our Mondos Galarraga 28-out perfect game will now be known permanently as the 28-out perfect game. The DH is gone in 2015 to all those who say it takes away a job. It doesn't. If the guy is good enough to bat, then he should be good enough to start in the field. No other field in anything has such a job, and neither should we. Oh, and don't say kickers in football. They kick the three-pointers and the kickoffs to start the game. Now, the World Baseball Classic stays, but it will go back to being once every 3 years and not once every 4. Also, this so-called Baseball World Cup has been eliminated. And I have begun talks, though I don't know if it will be successful on this, to try to convince the major league networks to show college baseball more than just the College World Series. If we are going to draft these players, you should at least see some of these players. High school games will not be discussed, nor will more Little League games. These kids are in between the ages of 9 to 12, and I think that the Little League World Series is all that we need. However, we may have big leaguers show up in Williamsport. It depends on if the players playing the Pirates or Phillies are from the area that the Little League teams are from. Now, the office of the presidents of the NL and the AL will be reestablished, and their first project is to find other cities besides Montreal to expand to those in the biggest province of Quebec. The Expos are coming home the way that the Cleveland Browns did in the NFL in 1999. You can decide if you want the logo to be the original or back to the logos previous used, or a whole new logo entirely. As to those cities that are eligible, Buffalo will definitely be in the National League. Las Vegas is on the table for the first time because an illegal gambler can easily drive to LA or Phoenix. So the reason we can't have a team in the home of gambling is no longer applicable. New Orleans, Jacksonville, and Indianapolis are also on the table, and it drives me crazy that baseball and football do not have teams in all the cities that the two leagues play in. I only wish I could remove the Giants and Dodgers back to their original homes, the city of New York, but we can't agree that the Atlanta Braves and the Cleveland Indians keeping their names, but Chief Wahoo, he's gone. We will also have at least one doubleheader mandatory by each team a month, though they do not all have to be on Sundays. Also, the day-night doubleheader thing will stay, but cannot be used back-to-back on those non-back-to-back game days. The owners will not be allowed to charge for two separate games, but a combo two-game package, such as if tickets cost $25 a piece, the fan will not have to cough up $50, but something like $35 for both. This is done to ensure that fans not only come to the ballpark, but they come back as well another day, as I have told the owners. Also, all teams, including the Yankees, will have mascots, though the Yankees do not have to bring back Dandy, the mascot they used from 1979 to 1982. And UP will, once they return to the Montreal Expos, will be returned to the Montreal Expos once they return. Chewing tobacco, gone completely. If the players really need to relax, they can try chewing gum. Or the soundtrack to Beautiful, the Carole King story, and metaphorically go up on the roof if necessary. Uniforms will be restricted to either just one alternate uniform per team and caps to a home and away cap. See the Detroit Tigers white and orange caps as an example. Throwback jerseys will be allowed, but only actual uniforms of the past. No matter what the Rockies would have the Rays or Marlins wore in 1953. Mr. Olbermann's idea of military uniform stays, but his power to do with the Hall of Fame does not skip over to me, with the exception of one player, and I hope to meet with Mr. Olbermann about this, whom this player shall be. To those in the Maris family, whose father and husband is once again the single-season home run leader, no asterisk required. Now, to do all the PEDs, as also Hank Aaron is also the home run king again, but the family of Gil Hodges is also a favorite to go into the Hall of Fame. By the way, Buck O'Neil was already put in the Hall of Fame, Keith. He got there during one of the Veterans Committees when they put in all of the Negro League players. Oh, and since they continue to say that they are the real birthplace of baseball, even though we know Cooperstown to be the place, whether it was Abner Doubleday or not, Pittsfield, Massachusetts will also now have a Hall of Fame museum. We can take all those in storage in the Hall of Fame and put those treasures in the Pittsfield site. They can all be moved the way Madame Tussauds does with its wax statues. The batter, as our logo, stays, and frankly, Mr. Olbermann, I am shocked that the good people of Idaho and Minnesota haven't tracked you down for you suggesting that we take Harmon Killebrew's symbol, Killebrew's silhouette off and just not use it anymore. Though I do not believe that they should hunt you down and kill you. I am just saying that I am surprised that no one has come at you with at least this on a tweet from those states. Then again, we are talking about current sports fans in Minnesota who have to deal with the Twins, the Timberwolves, their ability not to trade Kevin Love or trading Kevin Love. Has he been traded to Cleveland? Yes, he has. And that hasn't been rescinded? No, it hasn't been rescinded. So he's been gone. Okay. I'm not 100% sure. I have to check with ESPN. And of course, the Wild and all those Adrian Peterson jerseys. Now, but if we ever have to put on the American flag again, as we did after 9/11, they will be put in the colors of the teams that are played. Also, we will stop selling those special July 4th hats or any other hats that will be done for one day. Although teams will still be eligible to wear them. The President of the United States, no matter what party, will be required, except in national security, having him to be at NORAD as we were under attack during 9/11, to throw out the first pitch of every season from whatever city or maybe he or maybe someday she wants. I have not seen Mr. Obama throw out a first pitch in 2 years, and it is just not right. The World Series, of course, is the president's option, and to be fair, Sarah Palin, unless invented by a team, and why a team would invite her is beyond me, will not be eligible to throw out a first pitch. However, the MLB station will televise the midnight baseball game in Alaska. Also, I am canceling the deal that the Atlanta Braves are going to move to the suburbs. Your new stadium will be 20 years old when the stadium lease runs out. You are not the only team who plays there. You are the only team that plays there. You get to play 30 years at a park till you get to even think about a new stadium, let alone build one. Also, we will work with the City of Oakland to build a multi-purpose stadium for the A's and Raiders, which they will co-own the way the Giants and Jets do over in New Jersey, which, of course, this city's football clubs are being held for ransom by. Oh, and instead of 19 games versus each other during the season, it will only be 15 games a year. I have more things, but you have deadlines, and to get to, so you will see them. So that is it for now, and play ball.